not connecting, but connect the dots, then you look at Antonio Brown pissed off going after the NFL, and then Tom Brady, who we already know is upset that Robert Kraft and Belichick, most likely Kraft and then Belichick, got rid of Antonio Brown. So we already know publicly that Tom Brady is upset about that.
Yeah, he's not happy about that, and he wasn't happy about his offense on
Sunday
Sunday either.
So that comes out. That Brady is dejected and is upset. He's questioning all these things about the offense. And then you get Antonio Brown, who issues an apology specifically to Robert Kraft, but elsewhere to the NFL on top of that.
So what are you saying? That Antonio Brown is coming back to the Patriots?
I'm saying...
And Gronkowski, too, just in time for the playoffs?
There is a setup. Can you imagine that? Like, that's what, any movie you want to go to, that's like at the middle point of the movie. When the bad guys get even worse. Or like, get stronger. Right, that's what I meant. Bad from a bad guy standpoint. Right. But it's like, oh my God, how is anybody going to beat this dude? And then all of a sudden he walks in the room with like 3 or 4 other guys that are just as big of badasses as him.
Right.
Whatever movie you want to fill in. That would be something we've never seen before. The return of those 2 guys.
If Antonio Brown is good to go to come back to an NFL team, and I don't know that to be the case yet, but if that does happen, Howie Roseman's got to go get him, doesn't he?
If he's available.
Yeah, if he's available. If he's available for a team, doesn't Howie Roseman have to... I mean, that is a...
What if Jeffrey Lurie doesn't want him?
Jeffrey Lurie took Michael Vick after a prison sentence.
No, I get it. I get it. Andy Reid was here, though.
Yeah, I know, but Doug Peterson's essentially...
I don't know.
Andy Reid 2.0.
Not in the reclamation... Like, there weren't many places Michael Vick could go. And Andy Reid and what he'd done and what he'd been through, that was pretty much... Like, he was a guy where you could go and have a soft landing, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't go to a dysfunctional team in the NFL. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Andy Reid, I think, was a bigger part of that than Jeffrey Lurie. And remember, Jeffrey Lurie, if you remember what he said, I don't want to open up the whole thing with Vic, but Jeffrey Lurie had to be convinced. Jeffrey Lurie had to be turned around.
But he was convinced.
Ultimately convinced, but the guy ain't here anymore who convinced him.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the Eagles weren't.
I just think it would be
in a position as an offensive football team that they're in now. I mean, if they absolutely need him.
Yeah, well, they need.
The Patriots don't even need him.
No, they don't. But the Patriots. Well, technically they do. The Patriots don't have any playmakers. Julian Edelman is the only guy that you can look at right now that can get you anything.
Yeah, but the Patriots have 1 loss.
Well,
the Eagles are staring no playoffs right in the face.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if Antonio Brown helps this team make the playoffs.
You don't think so?
No, I think they get beat by Seattle with or without Antonio Brown. Let's start there. That's the easiest place to start with Antonio Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you have an issue, not you, Harry, but people who are listening have an issue with who Antonio Brown is, allegations and all the things surrounding it, that's fine. Nobody's saying that you can't have any issue with that. In fact, we've dealt with that with many players in professional sports. But I'm saying if, in fact, the Philadelphia Eagles were to sign him, I don't think it makes a difference at all this week.
Really? Well, not this week. I'm just saying you'd want to...
They signed him today. He's in practice Wednesday, Thursday, walk through Friday.
Well, he'd still be better than anybody else they're going to throw out there at the position.
Absolutely. Not even hesitating to agree with you.
You know, he could be been laying on a beach for the last couple of months, and he'd still be better than what they have.
Correct. However, I believe that this team is way more than just an Antonio Brown away.
What? From what? From making the playoffs?
Yeah, at this point. I think Dallas right now has put the pressure on them. They have another game against the Patriots. They're in New England.
Right.
And we'll see what happens up there. I'm not going to say that New England is a cakewalk to beat them, but the Philadelphia Eagles haven't done anything yet right now to prove to me that they can even handle an easy schedule, let alone the 2 games that we knew were going to be tough before that easy stretch. And that's New England and Seattle.
Well, yeah, easy stretch is in quotes because 3 of the games are divisional games against. I mean, the Redskins are the worst team in football. I mean, them and the Bengals, right?
Right.
And I'd probably say Washington's worse. The Bengals at least put up a fight. last weekend.
That was
in
a strange
Oakland.
game, though. I mean, Oakland should have covered that line, but yeah, that you're right. I mean, ultimately, well, I don't know who's got less talent.
I don't know, but they're bad. They're one
Both-
of the
both
one of the
teams.
2 worst teams in the sport.
Miami's better than both of them.
Yes,
Put it like that.
I would agree with that. Even though the Redskins beat Miami.
Well, that was earlier in the year,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Wasn't
yes.
it like week 2 or 3?
No, it wasn't that early. But it was a game where the Dolphins went for 2.
Oh,
At the
right.
end, and they
And
called one of
everybody's
the
like,
worst
yeah.
plays I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the Redskins stuffed them and ended up winning the game. But
Yeah.
anyway, who cares? They're one of the worst teams in football. The Giants are not very good either.
No.
But I can see why you could sit here and say, those 3 games, they had 2 against the Giants, 1 home, 1 away. You could see them maybe losing one of those games on the road.
Eagles. Yes.
I wouldn't be totally shocked with it either.
No, I wouldn't be at that point. If they lost to the Giants on
the road?
No,
It's not out of the question.
not at all.
That's for sure.
Now, that's what I'm saying. When you start to look at moving forward,
And they lose that game, they don't belong in the playoffs.
yeah, and I don't know if they belong in the playoffs right now.
Wow. I mean,
Antonio Brown helps in that situation. Antonio Brown helps against Washington, helps against
they were a play
the
away from
Giants.
tying New England and going to overtime, right?
Yeah, a lot of this game though is a play or 2 away from something.
Yeah.
And you go back and I think what happens is we like to focus on 1 or 2 plays, but there were about 15 or 16 plays that probably could have gone their way that maybe put them in a position where they don't have to be down a touchdown and have to force 1 throw left. That's all I'm saying is that these things build up. But I get you as far as the game. Antonio Brown's not signing, and if he does sign here, it's not going to
I'm
be in time.
fantasizing
No.
right now
No.
because of what I watched on Sunday.
Correct. I thought it was
Okay.
just because of Rob Gronkowski's major announcement.
No,
that he
what
teased.
was his announcement?
Okay, so he had everybody going for like a day and a half.
Because there was a big announcement in Nashville this morning, too.
There was.
That had nothing to do with Rob Gronkowski.
No, that was separate from Gronk.
Right.
This one came as a result of him teasing this announcement where it was like this huge thing with build-up from Sunday. He's on the Fox pregame show, right?
I don't watch it, but yes. I saw him on the first night that he was on.
Correct.
And I wasn't very impressed.
Neither
Yeah.
was I, nor am I, continued if I ever see him. So
Right.
he's on there, and he teases this announcement that's coming Tuesday morning. And everybody thinks, oh, my goodness.
He's coming back
He's
to the
coming
Patriots.
back. And if you look online, you saw on a couple of the global markets, right, that put out ridiculous odds like that.
Yeah.
It was like plus 1,500 that he wasn't coming back. Oh, minus 1,500 that he wasn't coming back.
Okay,
And
so
plus-
that's the favorite.
Exactly.
All right.
Plus 700 that he was.
Yeah.
Turns out that this whole thing, all right, this whole thing was about promoting the fact that he's hosting a Super Bowl party in Miami.
Oh, God.
That's all it
Of
was.
course he is.
That's all it was. Right. Like you needed to have an
Right.
announcement for that.
Really?
Like you needed some big major proclamation. Hey, it's Gronk. I'm hosting a party in Miami.
South Beach, Gronk, Super Bowl. What's the next word out of your mouth? Party.
Yeah.
Right?
It could be November 18th in Miami, and Gronk could just be hosting a party in the middle of the season.
Right.
And he's playing. Like, this isn't any major news, but of course, he teased everybody, and that was this major announcement.
Oh,
that
really?
was kind of.
I'm picturing a yacht on Biscayne Bay with thonged females shaking rumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a real rump shaker.
That is a rump shaker right
Right.
there. That's a rump mobile
Yeah.
out there.
Shirtless Gronk.
Yep. Oh,
You know?
he's eating it up.
Shotgunning beers.
I
One in
can't-
each hand.
I can't.
Right?
Even, yes. I would imagine that would be it. I think that would be a big part of it. All right. Now we need to figure out what to do with this chair here, because Jason's going to be back with us
Tomorrow. Yeah.
and that's the guest chair.
Correct.
And normally when it's not the guest chair, I have the Donovan jersey. It's the only jersey I've ever owned. It's a Pro Bowl McNabb jersey. And that's kind of like, Donovan is in the house. He's holding that seat for people. But now it's turned into a coat rack, and it's turned around.
Well, yeah, I put my coat
Yeah,
on there.
but look, look what people are seeing now
Yeah.
on the stream.
Well, hey, that's bad positioning out of the cameras, I guess.
No, the cameras don't move. It's you that moves. The chair should move. Now I have to fix it. I was going to nail something up to the wall in the break.
I don't want to be
and
on
level
camera
something.
anyway.
I was going to level something to nail it during the wall in the break. All right.
Yeah.
Now, we also have this other story. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. Well, as far as the Philadelphia Eagles are concerned, and Brady and everything with the Patriots offense, Antonio Brown, people can weigh in on that.
I think Antonio Brown, a player of his caliber, would make a huge difference with this offense. I do.
Well, what happens when a team takes him out? What happens when a really good defense that you go up against takes him out of the game? Which we see. Look, Bill Belichick he chose to take Miles Sanders out of that game on Sunday, and it worked. It worked.
Well, the right side of the Eagles' offensive line kind of took Miles Sanders out of that game, too.
That's fair.
They were horrible once Lane Johnson went out.
Even in the passing game, though, Miles Sanders.
Well, yeah, I didn't see many. I saw one attempted wheel route, I think I remembered, and it was incomplete. Or did he get sacked on it? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But I know it was not complete. I thought we'd see a lot of that on Saturday.
That's what
Sunday.
I'm saying, man.
I don't know what Doug was doing either.
Belichick took a lot of that out. Like, he focused a lot of his guys on Miles Sanders, especially in the passing game. Anyway, the point being, though, Antonio Brown is the one thing. So if people want to weigh in on that, the Eagles are now a 2-point favorite.
No, it's down to 1.5 in those
already
spots.
dropped?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would have. It opened up at -2.
It was 3. It opened up at 3.
Oh, I saw 2.
Yeah, 3. I'll show you. It opened up. I'll go to Circa because they're the ones that come out with the lines usually first.
You don't like Action?
Action?
Yeah, they do a pretty good job. Everything is updated live with Action Network.
I don't care about Action Network.
Well, what's the difference?
Here, 3.
It's pulling it from the same place.
Right there, 3. It's 3.
Right?
Yep.
It's pulling it from. My point of it is, it's pulling from the same place, so it's down to 1.5 now.
Correct. And 1 in some spots. So it's coming down to where it actually should be. I can't believe it opened at 3.
Well,
seriously.
It's been bet heavily too. See, I have it as the most bet game as of right now, outside of Monday night.
Yeah.
Monday night is going to be Baltimore at the Rams, and that's already because that opened up as a pick'em, and it's already been moved 3 points. Think about that. That's Monday night. It's been moved 3 points.
What's the Thursday night game this week?
Thursday night game is Indy Houston. Now that'll be bet more as we get closer, but that over 2,200 people have bet on this. I'm just talking about the spread, not anything else, just the spread. Over 2,200 bets have been hit on the spread with this Eagles-Seahawks game.
Wow.
And look at this, 84% of the money on the Seahawks.
Wow. Now Circa did open it at 2.5. But I know I saw a 3.
No, you're
Stations had it at 3.
Here, Action has it at 3 as well. That
Okay.
opened up. But I saw on Twitter somebody quote somebody specific that had it at 2.5. So I assumed it opened at 2.5. But both your
FanDuel 2.
Wow, is that
Yeah, right
it
there.
opened at 2 or it's at 2?
DraftKings 2.5. No, it opened.
Oh, okay. 3 is an aggressive number to open this game.
I know.
You're getting the home field advantage, and now you're down to 1.5. If you bet the Seahawks, hopefully you got in right away.
I don't know how much of a home field advantage it is if they get off to a bad start.
Well, how much of a home field advantage is it with the Eagles that get off to bad starts and the Seahawks that play exceptionally well or
on
at
the
least
road?
win games?
That's what I'm saying. It almost takes away your home field.
Why wasn't that factored in? I keep going back to how easy it is to sucker us into betting in this region, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just so easy to put.
We love betting on our own team.
Oh, man.
Right?
That's an
No
Eagles
matter.
line.
Oh, I love the Eagles this week.
That's an
I'm
Eagles
feeling
line.
it. I'm not feeling it.
Oh, my goodness. So, here's something, too. It's International Men's Day. Did you know that?
Isn't every day some day?
Yeah, and very rarely do
Who comes up with this nonsense?
I don't know, but I thought, like, International Men's Day is something that is either people are making fun of the fact that it's a men's day, or it started out as something that is now turned, because you know how social media twists everything around. So I put out, it wasn't a poll, it was more of a question. And we never do this. So I figured, why not? Every now and again, it's nice to kind of go back or revert back or just take a nice little turn in the opposite or just even different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's International Men's Day, and I tagged you in this as well. Put out there, give me your Mount Rushmore of men.
Mount Rushmores? Seriously?
Well, think about it. Think about the question itself. Not only is the Mount Rushmore an absurd phrasing of any question, like, yeah, give me your Mount Rushmore. You ready for your Mount Rushmore?
Right.
You know, it's just something absurd, right? men. Like, you never get that. In the people that actually do, and I can't believe people still seriously do Mount Rushmores or top tens, whatever. But for the people that still do all that, you would never ever find anything like. It would always be like, give me your Mount Rushmore of mob movies, or give me your Mount Rushmore of pizza shops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like men, it's just such a ridiculous, open-ended.
I wouldn't even know how to answer.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's like, which way are you going here? Are you saying like, give me your top 4, because that's what a Mount Rushmore is.
Give me your top 4
of man's man. You know, like what personifies a man's man to you? Is that what you're asking me? Like John Wayne.
What?
Would John Wayne be a part of that?
Would it help if I read some tweets?
The Rock.
The Rock.
Okay.
I don't think The Rock has been mentioned.
No?
No. Now, how about I read a couple for you?
Go ahead.
The Boston Strangler at Ball 316. Andrew Jackson, Ernest Hemingway, Richard Feynman.
Who?
Richard Feynman.
I don't even know who that is.
Feynman, Feynman, and Randy Savage.
Randy Savage.
Honorable mention, the guy who got the very first, I can't say that on the air, but it's,
Something sexual of
absolutely.
sexual
a
nature?
guy who would receive something.
Oh, okay. I got you.
The very first, I don't know if that's been documented.
Was that Adam?
It might have been. It might have been.
I mean,
Although Adam, wouldn't that be incestual? But I guess it all is if you believe in that everything began incestually.
I mean, I start somewhere, right?
That's true. That is
I mean,
true.
it's
Start,
one man and one woman.
Right.
Got to start, right?
Yeah, I guess you can only condone it if it's one man, one woman. Otherwise, I'm out. Tim Galligan at TGal1126 tweets, going old school. John Wayne,
Okay.
Marlon Brando, Paul Newman,
Jeez, that's
Steve McQueen,
good. Okay, so I see where he's going there.
Sensei Fred's Mojo, Cary Grant, Gene Kelly, Humphrey Bogart, Denzel Washington. Are you noticing a theme here?
Yeah.
Are you noticing a theme?
No.
Outside of Boston Strangler, who ended it with the whole thing about receiving, this is all about actors.
Mm-hmm.
This is entertainers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about that. Now look, our buddy Gabe Basine, Chuck Norris, Tom Selleck, Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson. All actors.
Okay.
Is there nobody else you can put in?
What
I'm
else,
not.
What
I'm
else
not.
would you put in there? An athlete?
I would put.
I mean, you can't just put like some normal schlub.
Why not? Look, I wouldn't put a politician in there. I would put. I mean, an athlete. I think I would put an athlete over an actor.
You're going to put in some major corporation CEO? Tim Cook?
Phil Knight
From Apple?
How about Phil Knight or
Phil
Tim
Knight?
Cook? Well, I don't think I could do that.
I mean, when I think of this stuff...
Is it really only actors?
I mean,
is that all he got? Is that all
the
the
first
gender
name
has?
that I thought of was John Wayne for
Oh,
some
my
stupid
goodness.
reason.
Why? Just because it was a man's man?
I guess.
Phil Leotardo. Didn't the guy who played Phil Leotardo write that book? Man's Man?
I have no idea. Phil Leotardo?
Yeah, come on, man.
That guy wrote a book?
Yeah, Frank Vincent.
Yeah?
Frank Vincent wrote a book. I guarantee you. Hold on a second. Frank Vincent, right, wrote
I didn't
a
even know
book.
Phil Leotardo could read, let
Well-
alone write a book.
Well, Frank Vincent is the actor who played him.
Right.
Not who passed away now, you know?
Oh, he's no longer with us?
A Guy's Guide to Being a Man's Man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a book I'd like to read.
There you go. Somebody sent it to the old place one day, and we looked
Yeah?
at it like, a year. This is back when like Fat Man was running the show. You were there. All that was going on, right? I'm talking about like you weren't even there.
Good.
No. You weren't even there. None of you guys were there. This was years ago. This is back when like Jody and Joe were doing the thing.
Well, I was there.
No, I'm talking about like the morning show guy. That's what I meant.
Oh.
Who was running the show back then? That's when the book.
Greg
was sent.
Henson.
That's when the book was sent.
You talking about him?
Yeah, that's when the book.
I was there.
In the morning.
Dude, I was there from the beginning. I was the start. I was the first voice on that station.
Ah.
At 6 a.m. on October the 3rd, 2005.
You and Joe?
Joe was the producer
Okay.
for the afternoon show, which was Jody McDonald. He came on at 3 o'clock.
Okay, so that's where I got mixed up.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is the book was sent to that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that fat guy.
Okay.
I don't know what other fat guy you were thinking.
I don't know where that guy is anymore.
Oh, he's, nothing but love.
And how about our boy, our friend Nick Cale.
What happened?
I don't know, man. I got a text from him yesterday saying I just got fired. I thought he was kidding. Everybody's getting fired.
Jason, then Nick.
This has been a rough, month or so.
It's the end of the year, man.
What the hell's going on?
Now, what's happening is...
How do you fire a guy on a Monday? And they didn't even tell him why.
They really?
Oh.
They just said you're out?
You're out.
Man, that's tough. You should at least get... Even if it's a BS explanation, you should
Well,
at least
right.
get something.
You got nothing.
Oh, man. Well,
So,
Jason will be...
he's welcome to come up here and sit in the chair.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Now, that's the chair of fallen soldiers, man.
Really?
Seriously. Fallen souls can be revived here. We're here for you, man. A lot of people tweeting in saying that would be the move, just to get Jason and Nick on ahead of time. I said, why not just put the four of us on for 4 hours?
Yeah? We don't have 4 hours. We only have 2 hours.
Maybe we can stretch something out. You never know. Danny DeVito has been mentioned by 3 different
Why?
people. I don't know, and I am out. The character Ron Swanson needs to be on the Rushmore. No, Bob, at under A achiever. I apologize to you, Bob, but Danny DeVito and Ron Swanson, I ain't making it. A man's man!
You're listening to the Maze and Aton Show, presented by Dry Guys of South Jersey.
What are you guys
Go
doing?
to
Sponsor me
dryguysonair.com and get the help.
Oh, yeah,
you
sorry.
need
Do you have the Parks one?
dryguysonair.com.
You can come out with the Parks, that's fine. We had to switch something up.
The Eagles look to get back on track, hosting the Seattle Seahawks.
Dude, that was a save and a half. Come on, man.
What?
That was a save and a half. This fat dude, was
Don't say that. I don't want that name.
no, that nobody knows. Well, that's what I'm saying. But now, people think themselves about crazy. How about that save? Come on.
South Jersey's
How was that?
Eagle Station.
Are you tired of the same old, looking for an exciting new experience? Come join our friends at Bury the Hatchet. Take part in one of the fastest growing sports in the nation, axe throwing. Feel the thrill of axe throwing. You compete against your friends and family in one of our 14 BYOB indoor facilities. Our axe masters will teach everyone how to stick it and keep your party moving with a variety of games like you've never experienced before. Birthday, bachelor or bachelorette party, corporate event, or just want a great time out with your friends. Bury the Hatchet will give you a night you'll never forget. Winter leagues are forming now, as well as our special Maze
No,
and
it's the guy
Aton
from
League for all
Anchorman.
you listeners. Bury the Hatchet is the East Coast premier axe throwing company with locations right in your backyard in Cherry Hill and Toms River,
See,
plus
it's pop
Philadelphia,
culture
then
question.
Salem, Horsham, and King of Prussia. Use our promo code HARRY50 for 50% off. Your first 2 hours will be 50% off. Just use our promo code HARRY50. Bury the Hatchet. Go to burythehatchet.com.
Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located on the 2nd floor of the historic Provident Bank Building in the heart of Philadelphia, near Rittenhouse. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Davio's offers private dining rooms available for large and small groups. Gracious hospitality and an attentive dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience.
what
At
people is doing.
Davio's, it's all about the guest.
That's just got
Join us for
1.5
an
million
hour-long
cash and
happy
checks.
hour or
I
Sunday
know.
brunch.
1.5 million
Davio's,
followers.
it's
They
all
do
about
buy
the
followers.
Doing nothing.
She told me that first time she came in. She couldn't wait to fucking last season's band was great. She really is an awesome person. She was like, because we were going through Twitter, and it was just like, one of these anchors that just randomly now on from somewhere, and this person had like 90,000.
Did she come on and trash Greenberg on our show?
I don't know. She might not be able to because of whole
Looking
money
for a
stuff.
home improvement contractor? Look at experience. We've got 30 years under the same name. Very unusual.
She's still
in
with
this
ESPN,
business.
right?
Look
do
at your
nothing.
strengths. We excel at indoor
Doesn't
projects.
do the
like
NBA show
season
anymore. They got that
outdoor projects
Maria
like
Taylor doing that.
windows and
Right.
doors, even entire editions. We've introduced products for national manufacturers and won awards for our work. Look at who does
I don't think
the
anybody
work.
can work with her.
ESP, the owner and the foreman of
I hope
25 3 years.
She sounds kind of difficult to me.
So she was great. She'd come in for 2 segments. Lonnie would kind of like sit there, and me and her would just bullshit on like
usually not the highest. We deliver great
non-sport, you know what I mean? Just like
looking for a
ridiculous.
home improvement contractor.
She seems, I don't know, she always seemed fun with me.
Look to VSP Home
But I think like, I think she's very like,
364-3286 or email him at vsphome@verizon.net.
This football season, visit the Great American Pub, where you'll find good food,
Yeah,
great times, and
creative.
good
Jeez.
football. Any way you like
A lot of
it.
these-
It all
like,
comes
look at the guys
together
she's
at the
worked
Great
with.
American Pub. Catch the game at
That
any
one
of the
dude
Great
in-
American
and
Pub
you don't remember that guy
locations
in
in
NBC Sports? That
Conshohocken,
guy was like a
Wayne, and
robot.
Phoenixville. Go to thegreatamericanpub.com. The Great American Pub, where good food, great
There was
times,
that
and
show
good
that they
football
did. It
mean
was
your
like the
weekends are covered
national
from start to finish.
CSN
The
show.
Great American Pub, the preferred location of the Mays and Aton Show. Make your next game out at the Great American Pub.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a tremendous history of great success in the
See
real
the
estate
question?
market,
Is that-
meet Kristen Thompson. A proud graduate of Villanova, Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20 years and specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors. You can
Gil?
call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group, 215-429-2451, 215-429-2451. Mrs. Thompson, your real estate advocate, who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
Your thoughts?
If
Go
you
ahead.
run a business in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware, you're familiar with workers' comp insurance. Did you know Pennsylvania and New Jersey rates have dropped this year? Let Lighthouse Commercial Insurance help you take full advantage of the change. With 25 years of experience in the market, they know the most reputable and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686. That's 800-691-1686. Or visit them online at lighthouse.ins.biz.
1 minute.
Welcome to 2 Street and welcome to Tollman Joe's. Tollman Joe's in the heart of South Philly is Tony Bruno's home on Eagles game day and your spot for free parking every Eagles game day. Get to Tollman Joe's 3 hours before kickoff, 26 East Oregon Avenue. Hi, this is Tony Bruno. I'll see you on game day at Tollman Joe's.
A heart in my tasty Honey Nut Cheerios cereal. You trying
Just
to
had
tell
this
me
guy
you
on
love
if you
me?
needed to have on.
Actually, it's reminding
I just
you
had
that
this
we
guy
can lower
on,
cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy
When did
diet.
Seattle play Monday night? Last
They
Monday
can
night,
help
right?
lower
They
cholesterol.
played San Francisco.
I've been so focused
I
on
just
the
had him on my other
sweet
show.
taste and taste that I
We should get somebody on.
Who?
Do you know anybody? This is the guy I know. He's
Honey Nut Cheerios. part of
Michael
the-
Shaw Dugard. He covers. He's the dude who covers the team for the Athletic,
Oh,
like Berman.
This is Joe Krause of Krause's Coats inviting you to donate a slightly worn coat or pockets in need
Yeah,
to stay warm
let's
this
get one on
winter.
Thursday.
Krause's Coats Facebook page. Happy
Oh, let me text Bob,
You
right?
are listening
Should I text
to
Bob?
Mays and Aton with Harry
Bob would
Mays
text
and
me for
Aton
Wednesday.
Shander
Bob
on
would text me for
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
Mays and Aton. And I got to tell you about my home team, Aton.
Yes.
So many of the great Philly football fans have joined me at the home team, and I'm talking about Parks Casino and Sportsbook. Parks has you covered for sports betting online with the Sportsbook app. I use it all the time. Or in person at their beautiful Sportsbook. You got to check that place out, man. I'm telling you, it's jaw-dropping. Parks Casino and Sportsbook, my casino of choice, the only sportsbook backed by the #1 casino in all of Pennsylvania. And they're not based overseas or out of town. It's right here in the Delaware Valley in Bensalem. Now, the Eagles are looking to bounce back from their ugly loss against the Patriots. They're hosting Seattle. And they're anywhere from a 1 to a 2.5 point favorite, believe it or not. And this is a must-win for the Birds. So a lot of action going to be put on that game. And Penn State has their big chance to go shock the world in Columbus. They are an 18-point underdogs to the mighty Buckeyes. Download the app in the App Store or just click on parkscasino.com/PA and use our promo code SWEEP for up to a $500 risk-free bet. Must be 21 and in Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. See, now I know people have taken this question way too far, way over the limit. And we're going to get to the text board coming up in a matter of seconds here. 609-403-0973. Matt Lombardo will join us at 1 o'clock in his weekly spot. And I know this thing is out of whack. We might have to shut it down. Alfie from Abington, of course, Mr. Fizz ESQ
Esquire.
has, well, yeah, but Esquire's not spelled out, right? Has now taken this way too far and has ruined the fun for us. All right, Alfie.
I wasn't really having that much fun with this.
I think you were.
No,
I was about to hit you with Bizarro Miyagi's top four.
Oh,
all right?
well, are we allowed to say what
Yeah,
he says
all right.
on Twitter, on the air?
But here comes Alfie, and I'll save you the last one, the one that really put it over the top to where I know he's not serious and just doing this so that he could end the segment. And I have a theory that you texted Alfie.
I
in the
did not.
break, all right?
No, I did not.
That you reached out to Alfie in some capacity during the break and suggested he tweet this, so you knew I would get so upset and irrational about it, I would shut the question down.
All right, what is it? Because I did not text him.
Herschel Walker, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
Okay.
Cal Ripken Jr.
Cal Ripken Jr.
That's not even the big one here, all
What
right?
is?
Harry Mays.
Well, of course.
No.
What's wrong with that?
Now I know this whole thing is a farce. Did
I
you
was
get
wondering
access?
how long it would take before somebody would suggest me.
Well, I actually saw this on the text board, 609-403-0973. Harry makes my Mount Rushmore of men. He doesn't buy presents for his wife. He'll swing under par one day, then watch Johnny Depp's Chocolat the next. A true man of the people. Now, Kate, I thought
Good
that
point.
phrase has been trademarked.
What's that?
Man of the people.
Well, no, I don't think it's been trademarked.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't think.
I don't want to get in trouble. You know, we had the other issue about the six-pack of picks with Jody. I don't want to get in trouble
Yeah.
with the other guy.
No,
you know.
I think we're good.
Man of the people, ambassador. You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
right,
saying.
Right.
I think that might be trademarked.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. That
I haven't heard
wouldn't be
from
his
PR.
anyway. It'd be PR.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard from PR the Great in forever.
I know.
Man. He got kicked off Twitter.
He did?
Yeah, it was awful.
Why would he get kicked off? What did he do?
I harassed some troll who was harassing him, and a couple of other trolls piled on. It looked like he got kicked off. I don't know. I don't know the specifics, but from what I heard, it wasn't something that he should have gotten kicked off for. We miss PR the Great, man. Maybe he could do. Well, we've got Pharaoh, so
Pharaoh Monch?
for the intro. But if we actually want, then we should probably get Pharaoh. Like Pharaoh could do an intro for us.
Okay, I'd like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we should freshen up the show every once in a while with a little change in the open.
Okay.
Why not? Now, did you happen to see SVP last night
What's that?
after the Monday night game?
No,
SVP.
I'm not sticking around for that.
I actually fell asleep
on.
during the football game.
I don't blame you.
And woke up during SVP.
You
And
awoke to
and
the
I
woke?
watched it.
Why?
Well, he's actually good. I like him. Like, he's one of the guys that's been at ESPN that I actually really enjoy.
I gotta be honest. I'm indifferent, but it's not like I move away and avoid. I just. I don't
But
know.
he does this one big thing every night on the show. Like, it's a sort of a feature.
Yeah.
And my buddy Brandon Matthews was the feature
Oh, is that
last
right?
night
Nice.
for the story I told you about yesterday.
That came
Down
up
at
on
the
my
Argentine Open.
look. That came up on my prep service thing.
It's all over the place now.
Oh, touching moment occurs during weekend golf tournament.
Yeah,
It's
it's
everywhere.
all over the place.
This is the viral stuff. You see, like this is what's trending with us here.
Right.
You can move it in Philadelphia. You can go about to go viral.
Okay.
Things like that.
For all
And-
topics.
Correct.
Okay.
That's where I pull. That's where I pull stuff like the Rockets showing off these NASA-inspired jerseys, or Caps player Hathaway ejected for
He
spitting.
spit on somebody.
Correct. Or Brad Paisley saying the Steelers fans will never forgive Myles Garrett.
Probably not, because he's a Cleveland Brown.
Correct.
And I don't know that has much to do with Myles Garrett. It has to do with the fact that he plays for the Cleveland Browns.
I would think so.
You know, there's a lot of animosity between those two teams.
We had Terrell Owens, and he was a horrible person. What's wrong with picking up Antonio Brown? You guys are making it sound like he's the devil. First off, Terrell Owens was not a horrible person. Terrell Owens never got in trouble with the law. T.O. was not anybody who had anything surrounding what Antonio Brown has around him. And to be honest, the texter is so far off. His intent is so misguided that he's actually doing an injustice to T.O. T.O. is a bad teammate if you want to stretch that, but at no point was he ever a bad person.
No, T.O. broke up the locker room.
Yeah, but he never broke somebody's nose, or he never threw anyone down the stairs.
No, and I don't really know.
Threatening people via text.
I
mean,
don't
come
really
on.
know what has really been proven for Antonio Brown either.
Well, text messages, things
There's
like
allegations and text messages is all I really know about. But I never said he was a great person, but I said I'd consider, if he's available, I would go get him. if
Right.
I'm Howie Roseman.
And I said, and we put it out there, Hunter put it back up already, where it wasn't about him, it was about the player. Like, the team is in so much trouble right now. I don't know how Antonio Brown makes them...
Well, he's a true number one receiver, which they don't have.
They
Even
don't.
when Alshon Jeffrey's available, they don't have it.
But they don't have anything else
He
either.
provides you similar to what Deshaun did as far as being able to get deep, and he's a much better route runner. He can run all the routes, and he actually catches the football. Imagine that.
Well, you're going to have to throw the ball to him 20 times a game.
And I'm fine with that.
Right, and against the Giants and Redskins, you'll be able to do that. I don't know if you can do that against better defenses.
Well, I'll
where
take my chances.
Guys will take him out. Well, okay, but that's the thing. Wide receiver is the easiest. That's why number one wide receivers don't correlate to winning Super Bowls. That's the easiest position to allow a guy to get theirs and still beat a team.
Well, I mean, having a player like that on the field, doesn't that make everybody else on the field a little better?
I don't know. That's my point. Is that yes, normally. And I don't even think normally like 9 out of 10. I just think more so than often, yes. However, look who we're talking about. You have guys that are already getting open and dropping the football. You got guys that
Well, this guy catches the football.
He does catch the football, but the point for that, my point at least, Harry, is that I'm not saying you're wrong about Antonio Brown's individual impact. What I'm saying is the team itself is so bad on offense, especially the skilled position at wide receiver, that I don't think he can make. If Carson can't make these guys any better, I don't think Antonio Brown can.
All right, now, did you happen to see the pop culture poll question of the day?
Oh, no, I did not.
I don't know that there was one yesterday, but there is one today. Best board game.
No.
Board game.
No.
Yes.
What? Where did that come
Now,
from?
take a guess.
Wait a second. This must have originated from something.
I'm
right?
not sure who originated it. I don't know who comes up
No,
with it.
no. I'm saying it.
Josh, do you know?
No, as far as
It's Gil.
I didn't mean it that way.
It's the mind of Gil.
I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean who physically. I'm saying like what was the catalyst behind the poll?
I'm
It's
not sure.
National Board Game Day.
Maybe.
Well,
It's a National Play Monopoly Day.
It's in the damn tweet. I was setting you up.
Yeah, I don't care what the impetus is.
Well, no, that's where people are probably thinking, why Monopoly? Like, why a board game? So they track it to something like the National whatever.
I
Day.
thought it was International Men's Day. How can it also be Play Monopoly Day?
That's the whole thing of the internet. See, I did not know they were doing this ahead of time, so I wasn't connected. But that's the whole thing about the international thing, is that you got 5 or 10 of them every day. Every day you have them.
Oh, the Bizarro Miyagi selections for International Men's Day.
He sent us 3.
Well, I see one up here with Buddy Ryan, Peter North, Dave the Hammer Schultz, and Ronald Reagan.
Hashtag presidents and porn stars. Wow.
No, but
I did not expect that.
It's apparently it's Play Monopoly Day.
Okay.
And that must have gotten to say, hey, well, what's your favorite board game? Take a guess on Gil's selection. This fits right in line with everything else.
It's a game that, my guess is, it's a game that, like, I don't know, an eighth of the audience actually knows, and less of which have actually played.
I think you're onto something.
That's my guess.
Scattergories.
Yes! I couldn't tell you
What the hell is Scattergories?
I've heard it named, but I couldn't tell you what the hell it is.
Josh, what the hell is a scattergory?
So I had to ask this as well, and I learned that it's a game where you're given a category and a letter, and you have to name people in that category. And as long as you don't name the same person with that letter in that category, somebody else, you gain points.
I'm confused.
So it's basically a whole game that's been...
It's a word association game.
Right. Remember when Rosie Perez was on Jeopardy and White Men Can't Jump, and she had the category foods beginning with the letter Q?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Quiche.
Right. Really, that's one of the most iconic scenes in any Woody and Wesley movie ever. You don't remember that? She's running the board, and she finally gets in on Jeopardy. She's running the board, and it's food. She was practicing in the motel room, and she was looking up foods that begin with the letter Q, and of course, lo and behold, it's up there on the board, and she's running, and it's a montage of her and, quiche and all these other things she's running through it. That's what Categories is.
Okay.
They just ripped off that scene and made a board game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's Gil's selection. Now, Mosher, see, I've been in line with Moshe pretty much on most of these. He said Monopoly. When I think of board game, the first one that comes to my mind is Monopoly.
See,
I played it a lot as a kid.
Okay.
The original, set with the original pieces,
But think about this.
like the thimble.
I'm going to bet it wasn't the first board game you played, though.
But it's the first board game that comes to mind.
And you remember, right. But
Was Clue a board game
It
with
was.
cards? Because we had that, and
It
I
was.
played that a lot.
I actually had to look up board games just to remind myself what other board games are. I was three I could think of.
was there a sneak one? See, give me the other answers. Was any of them like a sneak game? Like, oh yeah, see, Categories is. Come on, that's not even cool.
Josh said Trivial Pursuit. Was that a board game? I thought it was just cards.
Yeah,
Board game.
yeah, and to be fair, you just even admitted that you had to look up lists of board games. So this
I
one,
only can think of three board games off the top of my head.
What were the three?
Boss.
What were the three?
Well, Monopoly was the first
Right.
one, obviously. The second one was Battleship.
Oh, is that considered a board game?
technically, yeah.
Yeah.
And the third one was Trivial Pursuit. And after that, I was drawing a blank. And then I went down a rabbit hole and realized how many bad board games there are.
Well, the Game of Life is Rothstein's.
Yeah, these are a lot.
I
Three
never
chalk
played that.
answers and one answer that's so far. It's the Dennis Kucinich of answers. It's so far polarized to one side that like 5 people know what it is.
It's Categories.
Yeah. And the rest are just chalk.
Yeah.
I was hoping for some deep cut. I was hoping for one of these
Like what?
games, like Candyland or
Shoots and Ladders.
Snakes and Ladders. I think they changed it.
Snakes and Ladders.
It was Snakes and Ladders. I think they changed it to Shoots and Ladders to be more kid friendly.
Oh.
But yeah, that's a great one. Snakes and Ladders. That's a great one. Back after this.
Very Hatchet.
Oh, first off, let me tell you though. Thursday, this is the place to be. Bury the Hatchet, Cherry Hill. Okay, we're going to be right there for all our radio listeners out there, 97.3, South Jersey and beyond. We're going to be right there in your own backyard. Cherry Hill, Bury the Hatchet, 1931 Olney Avenue. Come by. We'll be there from noon to 2. Your first throw's on us. All right? And we have a promo code, Harry50. Harry and the number 50 to get you half off your first 2 hours anytime you go in there to Bury the Hatchet. We've got some great things we'll announce with them coming up, including our own league. But make sure you use our promo code. It's burythehatchet.com. Promo code Harry50 for half off. It's 14 and up. BYO beer and wine as well as food. Thousands of positive reviews. You can check them out on Facebook, Google, TripAdvisor, all right there at the top. And the best part about it is, all right, you're throwing axes, you're hanging out with a big group of people, but maybe there's a game on. Maybe you're thinking, I don't want to miss the Eagles, the Sixers, whatever. Don't worry. We were there. Every location has tons of TVs. A great place to watch sports while you're waiting for your next throw and having a glass of wine or a beer and food of choice. It's burythehatchet.com. Again, we'll have Sixers tickets for you Thursday, noon to 2, 1931 Olney Ave in Cherry Hill. Back after this.
Listen to Maze and Aton anywhere.
This is just
Download the 97.3
I would love-
ESPN mobile
I wonder who
app
runs that
now.
account.
I don't know.
97.3 ESPN.
I'd like to meet him, though.
Yeah.
app. Coming
Make-
up on
make
the
me
next
look
edition
international
of the
personal
Sports
movement.
Bash with Mike Gill.
Coming up, we'll continue to break down the Eagles' loss to the Patriots. Who's in, who's out after Week 11 in the NFL? Football and Fair with John McMullen. Dave Weinberg will jump on to talk a little bird. Plus, it's a Tuesday with Thompson. Pete Thompson, 5:15. Don't forget, 99 bottles. Download the app. Get the keyword.
New York-based company looking for someone to review a wide variety of
2 to
cannabis
6 on
products.
97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
I am so ready for football season. Are you? You better be college with a huge day on Saturday. Pro
Huge
football
day.
on
Should we do
Sunday.
that?
Make sure you bet with the best. My guys at the #1 casino in Pennsylvania, Parks Casino and Sportsbook.
Got
My
odds
guys
of
at
the
Parks
Jeopardy
Casino and
championship.
Sportsbook have it all in person or online. Download the Parks Casino
When's
Sportsbook
that?
app right now in the
I don't
App
know.
Store. Go to parkscasino.com/PA.
This
Use
whole
promo
hour,
code
did he make it?
SWE EEP sweep to get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. ParksCasino.com/PA. Again, PARX Casino.com/PA, and use promo code SWEEP to get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My guys, they should be the guys you trust as well.
People
Place
rip
all
the
your favorite
American
sports
Conference.
bets,
The
odds,
American
money
Conference
lines,
is
even
freaking
line
good.
in-game betting.
This
Sign
Ohio
up now,
game
get a
tonight?
risk-free bet
They're
of
the
up to
worst team in,
$250
or no,
on your
Akron's
first
the worst team in
deposit.
college
Yeah.
football.
And they're playing tomorrow night.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So you got Ohio, and then you get Akron back-to-back nights.
Because I think Akron got beat by UMass.
Steakhouse is located on
And
the
UMass
second
is
floor of the
awful.
historic Providence Bank
Fucking,
Building in the heart of Philadelphia, near Rittenhouse. At Davio's,
At
it's
SMU.
all about the
Pounded
gas.
SMU
Davio's
game.
offers
Oh, the
private
basketball?
dining rooms
Yeah.
available for
They,
large and
they
small
won.
groups, gracious hospitality, and an
At
attendant
Pace,
dining
Kyrie
room
Irving
set
was out,
provide
and the
every
line didn't
guest
move
an
at all.
exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about
pretty
the gas.
surprised on that Nets
Join us for a
basis.
power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's all about the
They kill.
gas.
These guys are fantasy insiders, and they provide fantasy info, and those are guys I used to win that $1,500 in that 1 week. They've been ice cold on fantasy for the past 2 weeks, but they've nailed like 75% of the bets. And the bets is like a secondary service.
Better, more informed healthcare choices, because we believe caring is help when you need it most.
So I was just doing it for fantasy.
Learn more at IBX.com.
I might cash the Sixers.
This football
Eastern
season,
Conference
visit the
bet out.
Great American Pub, where you'll find good
It's only
food,
50 to
great
win a
times,
$1.10.
and good football. Any way you like it. It all comes together at the Great American Pub. Catch the game at any of the 3 Great American Pub locations
took the,
in Contra
Anthony Davis
Wayne,
cash
and
out
Phoenixville.
off the board
Go
for
to
MVP.
thegreatamericanpub.com. The Great American Pub, where good
Yeah.
food, great times, and good football mean your weekends are
The
covered
50,
from
they were
start to
offering me
finish.
80
The
on
Great
the cash
American
out.
Pub, the
The
preferred
win is
location of the
$375
Amazing
on
Aton Show.
50, and
Make
they were
your next
offering me
game
80.
out at the Great American
Then they
Pub.
just took it off.
If you run a business in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware, you're familiar with workers' comp insurance. Did
You know what that final
Pennsylvania and New
score
Jersey
was?
rates have dropped this year? Let Lighthouse Commercial Insurance
Last
help
night?
you take full advantage of the change. With 25 years of
So,
experience in the market,
I got
they know the most reputable and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686. That's 800-691-1686. Or visit them online at lighthouse.ins.biz.
I got $3 in credit for every point that they won by.
on the golf
They can
course,
roll out.
you should add these 4 words into your training and lifestyle. Traditional, Thai, yoga, massage.
Yeah.
A Thai massage is relaxing and energizing without oil and is designed to increase your flexibility. Try it now. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including a better score. Call Asan Thai Massage right now. 215-663-9376. 215-663-9376. Asan Thai Massage. They aim to heal.
Get to the Landmark
Next.
Americana in the heart of Glassboro
Probably
for
Nick later
a
tonight.
great football experience, a great nightlife
No, they don't
experience,
play.
or anything you want it to be, experience. The Landmark Americana. It's the Monday night home of Bruno, Aton, and McMullen. Presented by Corona and South Jersey's football home every Eagles game day. Landmark Americana. You'll know it when you get there, and you'll always remember it when you leave. Go to the Landmark Americana in Glassboro this football season. Who knows who you'll see?
Have you ever gone too far? Taking that one little thing you have to do and turning it into something much, much bigger? Of course you have. You're a truck person. That's how fire pits turn into pizza ovens and koi ponds turn into swimming pools. Ford makes trucks for truck people. And the truck people have spoken.
Seattle guy
Ford
for
F-Series
Thursday at
has
1
been
o'clock.
America's best-selling trucks for 14
Thursday?
years. Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
Think of all the things you could do for those you love if you won the $192 million
How much time we got?
Millions
Are we back
jackpot. Like fly your entire
We're like
family to a
15
vacation
seconds, you got a lot of unread text
Maybe
from a
throw in a
text
separate
Okay.
chateau for the in-laws.
We'll hit that
Take
now.
a chance on Mega Millions.
What's
After all, anything can happen in Jersey.
This is Joe Krause of Krause's Coats, inviting you to donate a slightly worn coat or jacket and help veterans in need stay
Think so?
warm this
Okay,
winter.
pretty loud,
Krause's Coats are on Facebook.
How loud was that over the air, Josh? The Axes on Thursday.
Have a happy holiday.
This is Mays and
What's that?
Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on
Loud in my
97.3
No, the rest of
ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
So Matt Lombardo's going to join us in 10 minutes, and we've got a bunch of texts we need to go through. Rushmore of dudes has to have Harry on it. Here's Alfie. Come on, man. I already read your tweet.
So he texted in the tweet?
Yeah. Doesn't ever have to go
That's
to the
a violation.
market. No. He texted in to follow up.
Oh,
because I bashed
okay.
his tweet.
Okay.
And he's doing what he should do, which is stick up for himself.
All right, well, what's he say?
Well, just that. Rushmore dudes, Harry on it, killed the 80s like a rock star, doesn't have to go to the market, and the only man to get paid to go away.
That's true. All of those are true.
Well,
Hard to argue.
You're not the only man.
Hard to argue.
Right. You work in this business long enough and you see a couple of people. Look, I got paid to go away at NBC Sports Radio, and that was...
No. We're not talking about a job. He's talking about a marriage.
Oh, a marriage?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that happens more often than the job.
Yeah?
Yeah, you don't see that?
That's, I want to hear from the men that got paid to go away.
In what sense? Like, married,
It's
richer?
usually the other way around.
Well, yeah, because somebody is marrying younger and less successful than the flip side. Like, a guy is marrying a woman who isn't making enough money. So there's no need for any prenup or anything like that.
No, there was no prenup.
That's what I'm saying. So if there's any prenup, it would be a one-sided thing.
It was just, a nice check was scratched out in my name.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I have someone in my family who won a divorce proceeding.
Yeah.
And got paid pretty substantially.
Yeah, no lawyer was involved in this.
Oh, well, that was okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
We don't need to involve lawyers.
It's fine. Hey, you never know. You might have gotten more.
Then I'd have to give some to him or her.
Well, that's true. That is true. There's always a cost. Nothing against Wentz. I just don't think he can lead this Eagles team. B in Summers Point.
This Eagles team, does he mean as constructed right now, or like on into the future?
I don't know. I think it's both. But I don't think we're at that point yet, right?
He is.
Yeah, but what would it take for you to be at that point? Let me ask you that. And I'll read you this next text, which is just bonkers.
Well, I mean, when you say at that point, are you asking me what would I need to see to decide that Carson isn't the guy?
Or how much more of anything, fill in the blank, would it be?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see him. I'd like to have seen him play
Better,
with his
right?
complement of wide receivers, and to see what this team could have done with a healthy Deshaun Jackson.
I think the best example we have is that year where he got hurt and they won the Super Bowl.
I still go back to that, but
Right.
Is that still? I don't know. Is he the same player? Because, like you said yesterday, you blamed it on Doug. Maybe some of it could be also on Carson.
True.
That he just doesn't want to run and put himself out of the pocket like he used to, and when he was making plays like he was back then.
You're right.
Maybe that Carson doesn't want to be that Carson anymore. I don't know.
No, that's a great point, and I don't know how to get around that. If he's the one that's the initial drive behind not running and not moving and not being mobile, I don't know how to get around that. If it's just being coached out of him, that's one thing, but if he's partaking in it, maybe even subconsciously, yeah, that's a problem.
But that was also, you had different coaches around him too back then that aren't here anymore.
That's another thing.
Right.
Right.
And I read you the from Bob Grotz's piece the other
About
day.
Peterson, yeah.
That Doug Peterson is even bemoaning that fact that Frank Reich isn't here anymore.
Three things have changed. Carson Wentz is no longer that healthy. The receivers around him are significantly worse.
He has no
or
confidence
playing worse.
in most of them.
Right. And then the coaching staff has changed
Yeah.
around him. So it's hard to pinpoint one thing. But even if it's all three playing a role in it, that's a terrible combination.
That's a brew.
That's a
isn't it?
trifecta I stay the hell away from.
Really?
I'm not playing that trifecta.
That's a cocktail I don't want.
No. All right, Rick and EHT. What do you make of this? Mount Rushmore of men. It starts off great. It starts off fantastic, and then it takes an ugly turn. An ugly turn. Pat Tillman, number one.
Okay, I was discussing Pat Tillman yesterday, as a matter of fact. That's crazy.
In general, or
Yeah,
on Sid show?
with a bartender
Oh,
at the
nice.
Great American Pub.
Oh, yeah? You went to the Great American Pub?
Yeah.
Nice. Pat Tillman, Elliot Ness, Sully,
Sullenberger,
the
right?
guy who landed the plane.
He landed the plane
Right.
on the Hudson, yeah.
And then Mike Gill's proctologist.
Gil's proctologist.
What do you make of that?
What about Bruno's proctologist?
I don't know if he would be on the top. I think people have questions for Bruno's proctologist. Like, what the hell's taking so long?
I don't know. He had to be in the hospital for three times.
Now, what are your thoughts on Mike
I didn't know
Gill's...
Gil had a proctologist.
I didn't either. Glenn from EHT should be on your list. Is that Glenn texting us that he should be on the list?
Oh.
Mount Rushmore of men: Kon-Tiki Viracocha, Crispus Atticus, Isaac Newton, Socrates. Kon-Tiki is traced back to the antediluvians.
What?
Paulie and Summers Point. Paulie really took this.
Wow, that's deep.
Deep. See, we open it up to everybody.
Man.
All right, Lombo next. Anything else?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Dry Guys of South Jersey wants to know if you have sticking doors and windows. If so, it could be a foundation problem.
Where is this?
And this family-owned
Kon-Tiki?
business
What
wants
is
to
that?
help.
Kon-
They use over
K-O-N-
30 products and warranties that will replace
T-I-K-I.
bowing and will replace cracked and leaky foundation
2 words.
walls. If your home is settling, Dry Guys will give you a lift. Call 844-470-4808.
It was actually a
844-470-4808 or visit dryguysonair.com.
Oh, really?
Take the first step. You'll be glad you did. Go to dryguysonair.com.
It's a movie?
This
The
football
journey
season
by
is a
raft
great
across the
American pub
Pacific
where you'll
Ocean.
find good food, great times, and good football. Any way you like it. It all comes together at the Great American Pub. Catch the game at any of the 3 Great American Pub locations in Conshohocken, Wayne, and Phoenixville. Go to thegreatamericanpub.com. The Great American Pub, where good food, great times, and good football mean your weekends are covered from start to finish. The Great American Pub, the preferred location of the Maze and Aton Show. Make your next game out at the Great American Pub.
Heard it work? Go right now to
Thor Heyerdahl. Did he put that in there?
No.
Your family is injured as
That's the
well.
guy who he evidently took a raft across the Pacific Ocean.
Countdown. Go to injuredworkers.com.
3-month voyage.
And Associates.
Kon-Tiki
on a raft.
How old is this guy?
You need injured
Thor
workers.
Heyerdahl.
Get the help
Oh, so
you
the
need
Kon-Tiki
right
is the name of the expedition?
Yeah. But
Go
the
to
guy is
injuredworkers.com right now.
1947.
There are so many choices when it comes to selecting the right financial institution. Start with the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. We're right here in your city. We're also the official credit union of Temple University.
Antonio
Anyone who
plans
lives,
to be
works,
coach
workshops, and studies in Philadelphia can open an account. We're member-owned and offer all the services you're looking for, like mobile banking
This is some,
and free ATM withdrawals.
Some tweet.
Visit our website at
Michigan
pfcu.com.
State's coach.
Yeah.
Not here for our profit, here for yours.
Can imagine.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by the Wound Care Clinic of South Jersey and Jersey Shore Medical Alliance.
Minor cuts or scrapes usually aren't serious, but if not treated properly, they can lead to infection. Here at Moore's Larry
You're an hour early.
the
Yeah, a
Wound
little
Care
longer.
Clinic of South Jersey in Northfield. So what do we need to do to treat a wound?
First, we're going to wash our hands with hot soapy water. We're going to cleanse the wound with hydrogen peroxide or normal saline. No alcohol. Make sure the bleeding has stopped and then apply an antibiotic ointment and a cover dressing. Watch for signs and symptoms of infection.
And what would they be?
The signs and symptoms of infections would be abnormal redness that is spreading and or drainage that
Yeah, what is-
continues to be
yo,
out of the
seriously, come on,
ordinary
man.
as far as the amount and also
What the hell is this?
All right, Larry Medico Wound Care Clinic of South Jersey.
That's Stoloff special.
Why is this airing during our show?
South Jersey, expert care with
Ah.
compassionate touch.
Is that a Kraus?
It's Stoloff. That's Stoloff.
I know, but is it Kraus?
No.
You have unlimited data.
Recalculating.
It's living that healthier lifestyle.
If you have
Subscribing to that
Talking
healthy
about wound
your
care?
data is limited, and so are you. Set your
In the middle of
smartphone
your
free with the new
sandwich, you
unlimited
get that
plans from
wound
Total
care.
Yeah, it's
Wireless.
lunchtime. I gotta hear
Unlimited data
about
on
a
the nation's
scab.
4G LTE network with 100
man,
gigabytes of high speed, then 2G
that is
for just
terrible.
$25 a month per line.
You have arrived at
I
your
am out on that.
destination.
Get the new
ASAP.
unlimited plans. Total Wireless. Total confidence. Available at Best Buy. See terms and conditions at totalwireless.com.
I'm waiting for Josh to just
Autism is a non-profit organization
explode.
serving the autistic community of Philadelphia
Oh,
and the
Gil.
Delaware Valley.
It is our pleasure and honor to partner with Audible for Autism and their
We're too far away, man.
Join them every football season as they team up with some of the area's best football programs, including Ron Jaworski and the Philadelphia Soul.
I'm gonna get down there and get my team all fired up and motivated. I've donned the old number 7 jersey to get this crowd fired up.
To provide a platform for children on the spectrum and their families to have a life-changing and unforgettable experience.
Let's start getting excited. It's showtime.
Audible for Autism provides an innovative game day immersion program, providing individuals the opportunity to participate in every aspect of a live football game. To donate and for more information, go to audibleforautism.org. Audible for Autism, changing children's lives one touchdown at a time.
That sounded like another Wednesday Foles troll.
Indeed presents this 97.3 ESPN Bet Center. I'm Tony Desiri. Some early lines in Week 12 in the NFL. Thursday night, Houston hosting Indianapolis. Texans are a 3.5-point favorite with the over-under point total at 45.5. The Browns will be hosting the Dolphins Sunday. Browns a 10-point favorite over Miami, over-under at 44. Bills taking on the Denver Broncos. Buffalo a 4.5-point favorite, over-under there at 37. Bengals and Steelers meeting in Cincinnati. The Steelers favored by 6.5, over-under in Cincinnati at 39.5. Giants on the road to face the Bears. Chicago a 6-point favorite. Indeed is used by more than 3 million businesses for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. I'm Tony Desiri with your 97.3 ESPN Bet Center.
Home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers. WENJ-HD, Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN. The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Aton Show. Middays with Harry Mays and Aton Shander. Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are here live, second hour, and it begins normally on a Tuesday with our next guest, Matt Lombardo, who covers the Giants and the NFL for NJ.com, at Matt Lombardo, NFL, joining us on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line.
Yeah, and he's got a mock draft up for 2020, Aton.
Really?
I just checked it out.
Now,
Yes.
I wonder, already.
He's already got the mock draft.
And I wonder just how low he has the New York Giants dropping. Now, is there anything else?
Well, he's got the Giants, I believe. Well, he has the Redskins. Well, the Redskins are at 3, I believe.
All right,
Right?
well,
No, the Giants are at 3. Washington's 2.
Okay, well,
Bengals are 1.
He can definitely fill us in. I see for a couple of books, this year's NFL champion, the Giants, are at plus 100,000.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody wants to take a flyer on that. And also, maybe we should just lead with this because Lambo is so well versed in and out of the world of sports. Matt, when we say it's International Men's Day, who are your all-time, your top 4, your Mount Rushmore of men?
See, I could have used some time to think about this one, right? But off the top of my head, I think you got to go Abraham Lincoln, probably the greatest president. You got to go Clint Eastwood, ultimate tough guy, guy's guy.
That's a good one.
Tiger Woods is probably on that list for many reasons, not just the golf. And the fourth is, I'll look up to you guys. Who's 4 on the
Wait a second.
Rushmore event?
When you say many reasons, not just the... See, I include the social impact that he had that will never be duplicated by anybody we'll see as part of the golf. So when you say outside of the world of golf, are you talking about banging women in Denny's?
Yeah,
Perkins.
Perkins. I'm sorry. Denny's was not Calipari. Rick Pitino. Shame on me.
Yeah.
I like your list so far.
Yeah, those are probably the top 3, and by the end of the interview, I'll try to get your 4th, maybe Lombardi, because of what he did for the game of football in the NFL. So I think those are my 4.
What about Gallagher?
How about Jim Brown?
Jim Brown's got to be up there.
Jim Brown's a good one.
You wouldn't go Gallagher?
Now, I got an issue though with your mock draft. I'm gonna tweet this out. You have the Bengals at number 1 taking Burrow from LSU. Then you have the Redskins at 2nd, and they're taking the tackle from Georgia as opposed to Chase Young, the game-changing defensive end from Ohio State, who you have going to the Giants. Now, did you do this in light of thinking that Washington would do something that stupid? Because if they're going to pass on Chase Young for some, the best tackle in in college football, I think that's a stupid move, but that's what Washington does.
Yeah, it was kind of threefold here, Harry, right? I think the stupidity of Daniel Snyder is right up there as number one, that they would see a position of need and reach for that need. Kind of hand in hand there, the stupidity of basically wiping out a coaching staff because they refused to play Dwayne Haskins and because Haskins was was Snyder's hand-picked quarterback, and he wants to protect them. And third of all, that two-pick is kind of a placeholder there at this point, because I do believe that the Giants' defense is not good enough to beat the Redskins when they play on December 23rd.
Oh.
And I think that there's a very good chance that Chase Young winds up being a Giant because he goes number 2 versus number 3.
I see.
This was more of a mock draft of trying to find the players that fit needs for these teams, more than a straight projection of what it's going to look like next April. And I do think there's a very good chance the Giants wind up with the number 2 pick.
Wow. Man, Harry was really looking forward to bursting your bubble on this one, too.
Well, he's got the Eagles taking a wide receiver at 15, I believe. The kid from Alabama, the other receiver, Henry Ruggs.
Here's the problem.
You need a deep threat there, right?
Yeah.
At the Eagles offense, guys, it just hasn't been the same since Deshaun Jackson went out. I think people in Philadelphia have had their fill of Nelson Aguilar, and rightfully so. I mean, it's kind of inexcusable how poorly he tracked that football on Carson Wentz's throw into the end zone, and then even more so drop the ball. So I think that if you can get Ruggs who can stretch the field, I think he's averaging something like 14 yards per catch at the moment. So if you can add him to that offense and Jeffrey can return to form even a little bit, you have Ertz and Goddard, I think you have the makings of a confident wide receiving core for Carson Wentz, which he's had few and far between in his career.
I don't even trust anybody. I don't trust anybody that the Eagles draft. And it's not the kid. It's not the young man that's coming out of college, if it's Alabama or Alabama A&M. I don't care. It's just you are now damaged goods because of who drafted you. This team cannot find any talent whatsoever with the wide receiver position. I'm going to read you something. No matter what the 40 times says, this guy can and will run right by defenders with a long stride, and once he's at full speed, it's hard for anyone to catch him. Tracks the ball well, can catch over his shoulder without losing speed, but also showed the ability to catch underthrown contested balls by going up and high pointing. Can adjust route if ball poorly placed. That's Mac Hollins coming out of UNC.
Who wrote that?
I don't trust anybody anymore when it comes to this position. That was PFF.
Sounds like a Lance Zerline NFL.com scouting report if I ever heard.
PFF.
Yeah.
So Pro Football Focus.
Might even be worse, to your point.
Yeah.
Guys, it's just you can go down the list, right?
They suck.
Pac-12. You look at Mac, and you look at J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. They just can't seem to draft that position, and I do wonder. Joe Douglas built up this reputation of being such a great talent about. How much arm wrestling went on in these war rooms, and if maybe people didn't overblow his reputation in terms of talent evaluation and didn't just make that link because of the relationship with Ozzie Newsome, or if these are truly Howie Roseman's picks. And if they're Howie Roseman's picks, then I think the future is a lot bleaker for the Eagles long term than a lot of people think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I tend to agree with you, and that's scary because that doesn't bode well for the future. Now, were you alarmed at how bad the Eagles' offense got once Lane Johnson left the field?
I was really surprised, Harry, and my father was watching the game. He texted me and said maybe Lane Johnson makes all the difference in the world, and I said there's no maybe about it. He's the most important player on that team, and I include Carson Wentz in that conversation. He's obviously emerged over the last couple of years as the most dominant offensive tackle in football, and while the Eagles drafted well with Andre Dillard, it's tough to throw him into the mix at tackle, in the middle of the game against a historically good defense. And you look on the other side of Jason Peters, he probably, the Eagles probably would have hoped that he would have retired before this year. I just don't think he has anything left. Kind of a shot fighter at this point. So, no, I'm not surprised, and I'm certainly not surprised that when you take Johnson out of the equation after already being without Alshon Jeffrey and then without Jordan Howard, that offense just kind of couldn't get out of its own way.
I'll tell you who's a shot fighter is my guy Phillip Rivers. In the last 2 weeks, he's got 7 interceptions. He had 4 last night.
He's got to go, man. It's time. Come on, Lumbo.
And a really terrible block attempt, too. See that one?
Oh, yeah.
Why? That's another thing. Why would you ask him to do anything athletic?
Yeah, I don't know how much longer you can ask him to go out there and play quarterback for you. I mean, at this point, it looks like latter-day Eli Manning. And if that's the case, I just don't think the Chargers. Hey, I think that it's a foregone conclusion at the end of the year. There's going to be a rookie quarterback or a free agent signing out there, week one next season. But I just don't know how much longer you can keep trotting him out there this year.
No, I totally agree with you. It's funny, they came in the same year, and they look going to probably go out the same year, Eli and Philip Rivers.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And Ben Roethlisberger, I think his future is very much in doubt, too, after this latest injury. That whole draft class is, I think we're about to close the book on it from the quarterback position.
All right, so I see a 6-point line opened up at 7. It's a 6-point line in Chicago. The Giants are getting 6 on the road. Not many people have thrown down on this yet. Still under 1,000 total bets on the line, but trust me, it's a Tuesday, so it will get bigger and increase as we get down the road here. But an overwhelming amount of people on the Giants, 71%. 6 points is a lot to get on the road against a team with Mitchell Trubisky as the starting quarterback. It's not to say, Lombo, that the Giants defense is going to shut them down, but I could see, I trust Daniel Jones a million times more than I trust Mitchell Trubisky in this game.
I think that if I had to play on this game, Eitan, I don't think I would bet either team on the point spread, especially Trubisky's the starter, sure, but was he not pulled late in the game for Chase Daniel on Sunday night? And if Chase Daniel's the quarterback, you saw the Giants take them to overtime and win the game at MetLife last year. I think the Giants' offense, when it's at full strength, is better, but there's a chance that Mike Remmers will be out. There's a chance that Nate Solder will be out. He left the game with concussion against the Jets before the bye week. Sterling Shepard, we still don't know if he's cleared from the concussion protocol, and I still think from a talent standpoint, at least in the front seven, the Bears defense is one of the more talented in the league. So I don't think this is the week the Giants offense gets on track, and I certainly don't think that this is the week that the Giants defense puts up much of a fight, but I don't think the Bears are going to be able to lay at the scoreboard either. So if I had to make a play on this game, guys, I'd probably bet the under. That's probably the one bet that I would make.
Giants go into Chicago. They lose by 3 or more touchdowns. Does this mean the end? Will Pat Shurmur be fired on Monday?
He'll be fired on Monday officially, but I think that the book will be closed on his tenure as the Giants head coach. It's one thing to get embarrassed on the road against the Jets, against your stadium neighbor, but then to come back after the bye week and get embarrassed by this team. I don't think there's much coming back from it. If Pat Shurmur is going to preserve his job, first of all, Daniel Jones is going to have to stop fumbling the football. You're going to have to see progress out of Daniel Jones. The offense is going to have to take steps forward. The defense is going to have to stop giving up X plays and chunk plays through the air. And if that doesn't happen, and if the Bears are able to do all of those things, force turnovers and air it out, and Allen Robinson has a big day, then I don't think there's any coming back from that for Shurmur. But I also think that the Mariners don't want to fire a head coach mid-season, 2 head coaches in a row. So I think that his time as the head coach will unofficially end, but we won't have any firings for press conferences on Monday.
Matt Lombardo, NJ.com, joining us on the White House Insurance Guest Line. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Lombardo NFL. All right, let's say that does happen at the end of the season, Matt, because I'm with you. I don't see them doing it during the season either. But let's say it happens on Black Monday, as they like to say. How long after that does Matt Rule's phone ring?
If Pat Shurmur is fired at 9 in the morning, by 9:05, Matt Rule picks up the phone in Baylor. It's John Mara asking him to come in for an interview. I think he's one of the top candidates to get this job. I also wouldn't rule out John DeFilippo down in Jacksonville after what he's been able to do with that offense, and certainly what he did for Carson Wentz, who looks kind of like a shell of himself since Frank Reich and DeFilippo left town. Those, to me, would be the top 2 candidates, and certainly a wild card to add to that list would be Jason Garrett. If Jerry Jones fires Jason Garrett, I think that he jumps to the front of the line.
Sweet. Wow.
Understands the market.
Yes.
Understands how to develop a quarterback, as we've seen with Dak Prescott. So I wouldn't rule out someone like Jason Garrett being the dark horse for this job if it comes open, if he becomes available.
And I wonder what that would do with Matt Rule. If Jerry Jones is smart, he would immediately call Matt Rule.
Well, him or the guy from Oklahoma.
Lane Kiffin.
No.
Lincoln
Riley. Sorry, I got my L's wrong. Let me ask you a question.
Lincoln Riley's legal. What's his buyout, Harry? His buyout has to be something outrageous, I would think.
Yeah, it probably is. But
Well, when's the last time that's been a big issue, though?
You know.
Right? Guys usually get that, even if it's a, what is it called? Like a show cause.
You're going to see a Division I program buy out a coach than you are an NFL team paying that buyout. But I'd have to do some more digging on that to make sure.
All right, so we need your expertise on this to help settle an argument. I don't necessarily know where Harry stands on this. He's been awfully ambiguous. But I have battled people on the text board and on social about this. And I bring this up because in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking on December 9th, we'll be talking about that Monday night game between the Eagles and Giants here in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
So I am pro, and I'm really overwhelmingly pro Booger, because I think the guy gets in, he gets out, he doesn't make this thing about him, he doesn't go into stories about Dak Prescott's mom who's passed away, he doesn't know any of that crap. He's good, he's succinct, and he's not there to split any atoms. But I get blowback on this show because he's just wrapped up with the rest of the idiots who are, doing play-by-play or color. I think he's actually fairly good. Your thoughts? Go ahead.
The only upgrade of Booger McFarland this year versus last year is he's not riding around that stupid card on the sideline.
Well, that was not his doing. Right.
Well, that's the only thing that makes this year's version of Booger McFarland better than last.
Why? So you're anti-Booger?
Sounds like he's anti.
I'm strong anti-Booger.
How about that?
I don't see what he brings to the broadcast. I don't see much of a need for him to be there, and I don't really gain much from listening to him. Again.
Wow, that sounds like a
scathing.
Yeah, okay, but you know what? I can apply that to anybody. How about you give me some specifics, okay? Because I can tell you Rondé Barber brings absolutely nothing to the broadcast.
That's true.
Or Chris Myers doing play-by-play brings absolutely nothing to the broadcast. The guy who he's paired with...
I think Troy Aikman is one of the best in the business. I think Collinsworth does a fantastic job.
Yeah, these guys have been doing it for 15 years. Booker's been doing this for the first year in the booth.
Yeah, I think Charles Davis on Fox is terrific.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
He's starting to annoy me.
Charles Davis is a fantastic guy. He's as smart as it gets when it comes to the world of football. I love the fact that he's on Madden. But to Harry's point, he has become awfully, and this is ironic, I know, coming from me of all people,
yeah, exactly.
but he has become awfully verbose to the point in which he is just going off and going up.
And it's every play.
Yes,
That's the thing.
yes. Listen, I don't need that after. That's what I love
And
about
I love
Booger.
the guy. Believe me.
Yeah.
He's starting to encroach on annoying.
Now, what say you, Lambo, to that?
You know what this conversation tells me, guys? I am very fortunate that I have to and get to watch very little NFL on TV.
Yeah.
That's what this is telling me.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're hurting when it comes to NFL.
That's a fair point.
You're not,
All right.
yeah.
Lambo, if you had to vote today, who would get your MVP vote in the NFL?
It's got to be Russell Wilson, right?
Oh,
Or
boy.
Lamar Jackson. Those would probably be my two choices. Twisting my arm behind my back, I'd probably go Lamar.
You would?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would too. I think that's a safe play.
Yeah, but that means the 1A is coming in here on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And that does not stack up well.
Nope, not at all.
Oh, boy.
Not against that secondary.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Hey, last one for you, and it's just looking ahead for this game specifically, because you know that from tight end to running back, there's going to be a lot of interest on the DFS leagues. Do you look at Saquon as now a continued and growing element in the passing game, especially this weekend, because that's going to add a ton of value for him over the weekend?
Yeah, I think he's a total wild card right now, Eitan, because I wrote after the Jet game that the Giants would be smart to
Shut him down.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think he looks healthy. I think he looks really tentative in the backfield. He's kind of lost that explosiveness and caught on a dime ability that made him so special as a rookie. And I think part of that's the ankle and part of that is him running a little bit scared. If Pat Shermer can find a way to use him in the passing game other than just as a last resort dump-off option for Daniel Jones, then sure, go ahead and get him. But at this point, I think the only guy that I would recommend from a daily fantasy perspective on the Giants is Darius Slayton. Rookie wide receiver, had 2 touchdowns, I think 182 yards receiving against the Jets. Really come on strong the last couple of weeks. Golden Tate's kind of a wild card as well. Evan Ingram's health is a major concern. So if I had to pick any Giant to put into a daily fantasy lineup and probably has a little bit of upside value, would be Slayton.
All right, Lombo, last one from me. Will you be making a stop-off in Columbus on your way to Chicago?
Unfortunately, Harry, not this trip.
Oh.
And it's probably a good thing based on how I think this is going to go on Saturday. I could be wrong, but I'll tell you this, Nittany Lions will not be the upset special on Fox this
No?
Yeah, where are you going to be doing that one from? Your farm again?
Probably the Giants facility.
Okay.
That's probably where that one will be built.
Now, you do own horses, right?
1.5.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I do not own horses.
He doesn't own a horse.
He looked like he was on a farm when he showed me that one video.
It was a spot down the road in the middle of
Yeah.
the day. I need to have somewhere that has some sort of background other than a curtain in my house.
Yeah.
And it was the next logical spot. I thought it looked okay.
He was-
the leaves and the foliage.
He was going for the bucolic,
Not bubonic.
rural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Not the bubonic.
Oh.
Where most of these college football locales are. Most of these campuses are in rural America.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
He's all happy valleyed up.
Let's just hope for your sake that we're not talking to you next week after Ohio State hangs 70 on you, all right?
I don't think that'll happen.
No.
I'm sorry, 60.
No, I don't think that's happening.
Look, I've got an inside source, the backup quarterbacks from the area, I've got an inside source that a lot of guys on that team are upset that Rutgers scored some points on them.
Yeah.
And they want to take it out on somebody. And guess who that somebody is? You.
Michigan in 2 weeks?
No, Michigan in 2 weeks.
Michigan, nobody even cares. Nobody gives a crap about Shea. Get out of Shea Patterson, this Michigan team. They suck. They're awful.
All right, Lombo. Great stuff, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there he is, Matt Lombardo from NJ.com on the Lighthouse Insurance guest line. Have your renewals been increasing over the years? Well, you got to take a look at your commercial insurance coverages, and you got to do it with a pro. You got to call managing partner Kevin McAdams at Lighthouse right now, 800-691-1686, or online at lighthouseins.biz. And of course, Lombo is brought to you by the great people at Gentleman Golfers Supply Company. Represent your love of the gentleman's game on or off the course with Gentleman Golfers Supply Company's extensive line of streetwear and golf apparel. Visit ggsupplyco.com.
Tomeko 215 on the Maze and Eighton Twitch channel. Eagles' development of wide receivers is probably worse than anything. They couldn't even figure out how to use Golden Tate and wasted a third-round pick.
I know. You know what's more shocking than that? Was that they actually admitted that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. We forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, that was words from the offensive coordinator's mouth. That wasn't us saying that. You know what I mean?
Coming up, Brandon Lee Gowton has put out the most damning information about Nelson Aguilar. And even the biggest Aguilar stan won't be able to defend this.
Back after this.
You're listening to the Maze and Eitan Show, presented by Dry Doctor South Jersey. Go to drydoctorwire.com and get the help you need.
What's up, man?
with
You
your
might like
basement.
right at 10:30. Should be fine.
Back here and pushing his way
3 hours in.
Sports Bash with Mike Gill. Coming up, we'll continue to break down the
Good deal,
Eagles
man.
to the Patriots. Who's in, who's out after Week 11 in the NFL? Football at 4 with John McMullen.
I'll pet you.
Weinberg will jump on and talk a little bird. Plus,
I'll
it's
pet you.
Tuesday with Thompson. Pete Thompson, 5:15. Don't forget, 99 bottles. Download the app. Get the keyword at 2 p.m. The Sports Bash. Weekdays from 2 to 6.
I was thinking,
ESPN.
there was this thing in National Geographic about how Philly was the only city is a top travel destination.
For an exciting new
So this guy
experience, come join our
tweeted,
friends at Bury the Hatchet. Take part in one of the fastest growing sports in
he's
the
the
nation.
president
Axe
and
throwing. Feel the
CEO
thrill of axe throwing and compete against your friends and family in
Visit
one of our
Philly.
14 BYOB indoor facilities. Our Axe Masters will teach everyone how to stick it and keep your party moving with a variety of
President and
games
CEO,
like
visit
you've
Philly,
never
visit
experienced
Philly.com.
before. Birthday,
So,
bachelor, bachelorette
I was
party,
thinking,
corporate event, or just
what we
whatever
can do
it
is, I was going to send him an email today,
Hatchet will
reach out and see if we can do
never
something with
forget.
him.
Winter leagues
Because it's
are
perfect
open now, as well
to
as a
have
special Maze and Eighton
have people down in South Jersey, like that's the easiest place to pull people up to Philly. Hey, come up for a weekend, come up for a Thursday night, come up for packages. So if we can combine with them, they're the type of people like the Mayfair or other groups that have sponsors already in there. So instead of getting somebody who's sponsoring Visit Philly, we get Visit Philly who already has 5 to 10 one sponsors in-house. So they can go to 20 other vendors and say, hey, we've got opportunity to bring people from Cherry Hill down to Cape May Courthouse.
At Davio's, it's all about the guests.
Fuck, man, are you serious?
Gracious hospitality
Go.
and an attentive dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Join us for a power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's all about the guest.
There are so many choices when it comes to selecting the right financial institution. Start with the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. We're right here in your city. We're also the official credit union of Temple University, and anyone who lives, works, worships, and studies in Philadelphia can open an account. With convenient locations throughout our city of brotherly love. Also online at pfcu.com with free online and mobile banking. We're not here for our profit, here for yours. Federally insured by NCUA.
Covering Philadelphia and the suburbs with a tremendous history of great success in the real estate market, meet Kristen Thompson. A proud graduate of Villanova, Kristen has been in the real estate business for 20 years and specializes in buyers, sellers, and investors. You can call Kristen directly at the Keller Williams Realty Group, 215-429-2451, 215-429-2451. Kristen Thompson, your real estate advocate, who will work tirelessly on your behalf while ensuring the sale or the purchase is the easiest part of the process.
This season, the Eagles pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Perks members score a $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game days. So don't just celebrate the Eagles from the sidelines. Head to Dunkin' and get a kick before the kickoff. Plus, DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee the day after every Eagles win this season. Just use your Perks enrolled Dunkin' card or show your loyalty ID. Eagles fans, run on Dunkin'. Excludes home $101 per guest per visit. Participation may vary. Limited time only.
Here's a message for contractors and business owners concerned about the bottom line. Make sure your commercial insurance coverage is right. Call Lighthouse Commercial Insurance. They can help. Let Lighthouse get together and find out spikes. That is right for you, for the right money. Make sure 25 years of experience in the Philadelphia market. They know the most aggressive and the most aggressive carriers. Give my friend Kevin a call at 800-691-1686 or visit them online today at www.lighthouse.ins.
If you're a golfer looking to pick up a few strokes on the golf course, you should add these categories into your training lifestyle. Traditional, Thai, yoga, massage, energizing without oil, and designed to increase your flexibility. Try it now. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, including a better score. Call Sun Thai Massage right now. 215-663-9376.
Honestly, Toll Man Joe's in the heart of South Philly is Tony Bruno's home on Eagles game day. And your spot for free. Free parking every Eagles game day. Get to Toll Man Joe's 3 hours before kickoff. 26 East Oregon Avenue. This is Tony Bruno. I'll see you on game day at Toll Man Joe's.
Is he still on or what? I think so. Maybe.
Hey, you.
Maybe at this point.
Hey, you. Holiday Inn Express
I don't know, maybe
wants
they
to
just-
let you in on a little secret.
Looking at this and riding the clock
Members
out.
can now get up to 25% off at holidayinexpress.com during our cyber sale.
CC me.
We'll even throw in free breakfast.
I don't like.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Breakfast
I
is
guess
always included in your stay at Holiday Inn Express.
It just goes to
Book
show you,
now
like,
and
this
save at
disconnect.
holidayinexpress.com.
It just goes to show you
Terms
the
apply.
disconnect we feel is real.
Law helps survivors of childhood sexual abuse take legal action. Jeff Anderson and Associates and attorney Greg Gianfrancaro can help. Visit itstimενewjersey.com or call confidentially today 1-800-ITS-TIME. 80 South Main Street, Phillipsburg, New Jersey 08865.
This is Joe Krause of Krause's Coats inviting you to donate a slightly worn coat or jacket and help kids in need stay warm this winter. Go to Krause's Coats Facebook page. Happy holidays.
You're listening to Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, Harry, as we wind down on our final 30 minutes of jam-packed interaction, sports talk and beyond, I have this thing handed to me. Now, this is, if you've seen this up on the wall to your left.
Yes, I know. This guy does great work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Art of Words, artofwords.com. and you can follow them on Twitter at Real Art of Words. And one of our listeners, actually one of our viewers, if you will, alerted our buddy here, Daniel Duffy at Real Art of Words, about the poster we have framed and hanging in the studio here. It's the Philadelphia Eagle logo gripping the football, made up of every single name of every single player who has ever played for the Birds.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you got to think about how many players that is.
It's absurd. It's right down to like the beak and the talons of it. It's just jammed in there. It's crazy. Now, there's one guy, I believe one guy, who has his full name, and he's the only guy who has his full name on here. And I know what it is now because I've seen it. Don't tell the audience in case, we give this, which we will. We're going to be giving this thing away. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring this to Bury the Hatchet. We're going to be there.
Thursday.
Correct. We'll be there Thursday. And again, in Cherry Hill, 1931 Olney Avenue in Cherry Hill. It's really easy to get to from noon to 2. And somebody who comes in, we've got a 4-pack of Sixers tickets we're going to be giving out. We also are going to have this amazing piece of art from our buddy Daniel at Art of Words, Real Art of Words, artofwords.com, Real Art of Words on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And we're going to give you this free. And you could put it up in your man cave, in your basement, in your house, in your bedroom, wherever you'd like. It is one of the coolest ways, I think, to show your fandom, show off your fandom, especially if you live in a divided or split household, or you have people in your friends or family circles that don't root for the Eagles. This is pretty cool. It's not just like, the Eagles thing we have. This stands out.
No, this is really cool.
So this is available for some. We're going to give it out to one of our listeners who comes by Thursday at Bury the Hatchet in Cherry Hill.
And like you said, every player is on there by their first initial and their last name, except one player.
Yep.
Apparently has his full first name and last name.
Correct.
Okay.
It's like Where's Waldo,
right?
But for Philadelphia Eagles players.
And it's kind of like, I know who it is.
Right.
It would be not somebody that I would have thought of.
No.
You know what I mean?
So let's think of that. Who, if I were to give you 5 guesses, and do this knowing, of course, that you know who it is, so don't give out the name. But first off, would that person even be in your top 5 of guesses?
No.
And if not, who would be?
My top 5 of guesses?
Ryan Dawkins?
I'd say Harold Carmichael.
Okay.
Randall Cunningham.
Remember, though, you're talking about names like Randall Cunningham is a long name to spell out here.
So is Harold Carmichael.
Right. So maybe that plays into it.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I
mean, think about a lot of these guys have longer names. Rogers Cromartie. If you put the full Dominique in there,
he's got the hyphen.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So anything with a Randall Cunningham.
That's a long one.
That is a long one. That's why I was thinking Brian Dawkins.
Okay.
But even still, that's somewhat smaller. Who else would be in there?
Well, would you put? I'm trying to get guys from like different eras. Like Carmichael was the guy from the 70s.
Would you put Ron Jaworski?
Well, he's kind of 70s, 80s. I'd
Reggie White?
In the 90s.
Jerome Brown would probably be a great one. Just because, obviously, of what happened to Jerome, but also him not being right just below Reggie, and Reggie being the most popular and best name you would go to, but Jerome Brown being that amazing talent, and of course the tragedy that subsequently happened with him. That would probably be a really good one to represent that. I mean, you wouldn't put Mike Golick, would you?
No.
Short enough name, though.
It's a short name.
It is. It's not Farragut. We're not talking about that.
How about, I see Guido Merkins on there. G. Merkins.
See, that would be one that's even more random than the guy who actually is fully spelled out.
I know. No, it's a cool item, though.
It is.
For Thursday, out at Bury the Hatchet in Cherry Hill, some lucky person's going to win that.
Yep, absolutely.
All
Eagles
right,
all-time roster, handwritten with every Eagle in history. There was only one way to make an Eagles word art worthy of the best fans in football, by handwriting out the names of every Eagle in history. So every player who has made the Eagles roster from 1933 through 2017 is included in this print. Shows an image of the old school eagle with the exact same shade of green that was on the old jerseys. There you have it. There is one player who has their first full last name written. Can you find it? Is what's on here. It is not in the eagle. That's the only clue that you have.
That's the only clue?
That's right.
All right.
609-403-0973. We've got a ton of texts we need to hit here. Man's man, Frank Sinatra, Bruce Lee, and my father, Vince. That's not bad, man. That's Vince.
But that's only 3.
Okay, how about Mike Gill, Josh Henning, and Ben Franklin? Can we choose out of the 6, 4 of those?
They left Moshe out of there.
I guess he's not a fan.
Jeez. Rothstein's not on there.
No.
I heard the show yesterday. They had a lot of discussion about that terrible shooting down at the high school game, Camden, Pleasantville, over the weekend. It was just awful, and Rothstein was there, and I was listening to it, and then I find out that they're gonna finish the game. They're actually gonna pick the game up where they left it off, and it's gonna be played at the Link on Wednesday at 4:00.
Have you ever done that in your entire life? I wonder, we only have about 25 minutes left. Have you ever in high school, or people who have been fortunate enough to play college or even semi-pro to professional, in any sporting event, any team or individual, had to stop something and then pick it back up?
It's like the Phillies World Series.
Absolutely. Now, this is under tragic circumstances, and that's going to weigh on anybody from 16 to 40 trying to take the field and all that. I get that. But just in general, I'm curious. Have you? I've never done that.
No.
I played a high school football game up in Connecticut. It was up in the Berkshires in Massachusetts, and it was awful. We were like one of 2 games that actually played in a monsoon, a nor'easter. It was right up there. Everybody, like, only one other game was playing, and you used to film all these high school games, and everything. You couldn't see anything.
Right.
We won.
Just a downpour.
Exactly. We won 6-0. We went for 2 because you couldn't kick anything. I think the guy fumbled it. They returned it for. That's my point. But weather didn't stop the game and then have to pick it up.
Right.
Have you ever done that before?
I mean, in doing games, I wasn't playing. I was broadcasting. The first Temple game that I ever did was at Vanderbilt, and the game didn't start, but it was delayed for a couple of hours due to lightning.
Okay.
Had the game started, they would have had to stop it.
Right.
And then there was talk that they weren't going to be able to. We were going to run out of time, basically, because it was late and it was a night game. That they were going to bring us back the next day to do the game.
So you avoided that?
No, but we avoided that because we had like 2 stoppages, and every time you stop it, it's immediately 45 minutes. And to you got to go 45 minutes to where you don't see any lightning in the area in order for them to start it up again. So that happened, but it was not. It was just a delay. It wasn't like
but still, a delay is not to that extent. But if you're not preparing for it, right?
Yeah.
If you're not, and it's weather and it comes out of nowhere, or you're told and like, don't worry about it, we're going to start, and then all of a sudden it hits.
We had to fill a lot of time.
I was going to say, yeah. Listen, there's nothing worse than going into a broadcast and then it being delayed. For weather or for whatever, and all this.
That happens a lot in the summer with the golf broadcasts. They'll get lightning or conditions, but then what they do is they play last year's final round, and the broadcasters don't have to do it.
That's smart, right? I mean, it makes sense. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, right? It's the smartest thing you can possibly do at this point. All right. 609-403-0973. Gil has a Mount Rushmore of board games poll going. Put that poll into Baxter, Bo. It's a violation.
The Baxter?
Yeah.
Wrong show.
Yeah, we can't put anything in the Baxter.
You can't be putting anything in the Baxter.
No. L of L. I understand it is just allegations at this point, but that nutty-ass AB would burn that figurative house down, Harry.
Well, yeah, he might, but, I mean, don't you have to kind of consider the risk given how bad things are?
If you think that you're just an AB away from competing for a Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, you got to get to the playoffs first.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Right?
It's true, you do.
You know?
I guess you're getting in there. Best board game is Clue, the movie coming out on Thanksgiving, Knives Out. is like Clue came
Yeah.
to life. Can't wait. You know what is probably just as good as Knives Out?
I
When
saw-
they made the movie Clue.
Well, yeah, there was a movie Clue, but I saw the previews for that Knives Out, and it did remind me of Clue.
Was somebody just gets killed at a dinner party
Yeah,
and then you have to
basically.
figure it out?
Yeah, there's somebody amongst the group that did it.
Now, come on. How can you further something like this? The person getting killed in the murder mystery genre of the house and the gathering, if it's a dinner or if it's a function, like how could you? Haven't we seen this enough?
Yeah, we've seen that's what everything's done in Hollywood. They just keep redoing stuff. Slap a different name on
Yeah, I
it.
was going to say they changed the name. Knives Out. Jonathan Patton at Shoeless JP.
Yes.
Dave Grohl, Nick Foles, Fred Rogers, and Weird Al Yankovic.
Well, that's a crew. Jesus.
What could you do with that foursome?
I mean, would Dave Grohl hang out with those other three guys?
Probably not. Probably not. Would Fred Rogers?
Now, yeah. You know who that is.
Yeah.
Are you going to see that movie?
No. That's Mr. Rogers,
Yeah, I
and
know.
I'm not going to see. Tom Hanks is on the no-watch
Oh, that's
list.
right. That's right.
But on top of that, what the hell do I want to see a movie about Mr. Rogers for?
I don't know, but the guy from The Americans is in it, and he's a good actor.
Which one?
He was the Russian couple. He was the guy.
John Hamm?
No, The Americans. It was the FX show. It was a really good show.
I know the show, but I don't know his name. I don't know the cast. Carmelo Anthony is active tonight for the Blazers. You guys think he has anything left? I think the Sixers could have used some more scoring off the bench. Let me shut that down right now.
Exactly.
Nope. I'd rather have Phillip Rivers coming off the bench.
Exactly.
All right, coming up, we'll tell you more about this great night that we're having, but really building up to it at Bury the Hatchet, noon to 2 on Thursday.
Listen to Maze and Aton anywhere.
Okay, very good, guys. I'm good with it.
Download the 97.3 ESPN mobile app now. 97.3ESPN.com/app. South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey is 97.3 ESPN. Listen as Tim Saunders and Steve Coates call all the action right here on 97.3 ESPN. It's
That's why we
Flyers
couldn't do
hockey
crossovers all the
tonight.
time because he wasn't even listening to the show.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
Listen to Philadelphia Flyers hockey on South Jersey's Flyers station, 97.3 ESPN.
As he's driving doing something where he couldn't just
I
want to
am
get lunch.
so
Right,
ready for
because they
football
listen to
season,
us.
are you? You better be college with a huge day on Saturday. Pro football
I got a problem
on
with
Sunday.
that.
Yeah, I'm with you,
My
man.
guys at the
I
number
agree.
one casino in
I think you
Pennsylvania,
did the right
Parks
thing.
Casino and
Texting
Sportsbook. My
Kraus.
guys at Parks Casino and Sportsbook have it all in person or online. Download the Parks Casino Sportsbook app right now in the App Store. Go to parkscasino.com/PA. Use promo code SWEEP, SWEEP, SWEEP to get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. parkscasino.com/PA. Again, PARX, casino.com/PA, and use promo code SWEEP to get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. My guys, they should be the guys you trust as well. Place all your favorite sports bets, point spreads, money lines, even line, in-game betting. Sign up now, get a risk-free bet of up to $250 on your first deposit. Promo code SWEEP, get your risk-free bet of up to $250. Risk-free bet is refunded on the loss of a free bet. You must be in Pennsylvania, you must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's human nature to care for one another. It can be as simple as sharing an umbrella, holding the door, or lending a hand. At Independence Blue Cross, we've been doing our part too for the last 80 years, providing access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals, as well as offering nurse health coaches and gym reimbursements. Because we believe there's caring in all of us. Independence Blue Cross. Learn more at IBX.com.
Davio's Northern Italian Steakhouse is located on the second floor of the historic Provident Bank Building in the heart of Philadelphia, near Rittenhouse. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Davio's offers private dining rooms available for large and small groups. Gracious hospitality and an attentive dining room staff provide every guest an exceptional experience. At Davio's, it's all about the guest. Join us for a power lunch, happy hour, or Sunday brunch. At Davio's, it's all about the guest.
Del Valle
Insurance wants to save you 40% on your car insurance right now, and they will do it today. Here's managing partner Jim Yulbrunner.
A lot of people pay a lot more premium than they need to, and they may not have the coverage to justify what they're paying.
There's no charge for the complimentary insurance review. You will save money, and you will connect with a company that is an advocate, not a broker. Go to dvigi.com or simply call Jim at 215-354-0122. That's 215-354-0122.
I've met clients that think that I, as an independent agent, charge a fee versus going direct to Geico or going direct to Progressive. We do not charge a fee.
Let Galval Insurance save you up to 40% on your car insurance. Get your complimentary review. Call Jim Yulbrunner directly at 215-354-0122. 215-354-0122. Your savings are a phone call away.
Are you going to see him on Thursday?
Yeah. You want to just take the check now? It's written out.
Oh, take his check.
Yeah.
Throughout the body, this massage is beneficial for athletes, those who sit or stand for long periods of time, people with multiple sclerosis, sciatica, rotor cuff issues, and many other muscle-related discomfort or problems. Call ISSAN-ThaiMassage.com 215-663-9376, where their motto is "We aim to heal."
This football season, get to Screwball Sports Bar and Grill in King of Prussia, voted one of the 10 best sports bars in Pennsylvania. It's college game day, football Sunday plus Monday Night Football, and a special live NFL Countdown to Kickoff show with the Tony Bruno Show every Thursday starting at 6 p.m. Get the daily specials on Facebook and find your way to Screwball Sports Bar and Grill in King of Prussia. Screwballs, where sports people go to watch the game.
1 minute achieving perfection requires feedback, and feedback requires you, a local Ford F-150 driver who rips up tree stumps, tows boats, builds houses, plows snow, moves friends across town, and hauls every heavy thing under the sun.
I feel like if you use something
and it looks good.
as
Ford F-Series has been America's best-selling truck for 42 straight years.
Come here.
But we won't stop there, because the only thing sweeter than 42 years is 43. Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
Think of all the things you could do for those you love if you won the $192 million Mega Millions jackpot. Let's fly your entire family to a villa in the south of France, and maybe throw in a separate chateau for the in-laws. So take a chance on Mega
No, you're right.
Millions.
They're really,
After all,
it's disappointing
anything can happen in Jersey.
how
This is
little
Joe
there
Krause
has
of
been.
Krause's Coats, inviting you to donate a slightly
And they can't keep blaming it on Joe Krause.
Help veterans in need stay warm
You know?
this winter. Go to Krause's Coats on Facebook and join Martin Law, the
Good.
law firm for workers,
Good.
to help those who serve. Have a
Back.
happy holiday.
This is Mays and Aton with Harry Mays and Aton Shander on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
All right, so wind down. You have any action tonight? Anything you want to lay out tonight?
No. I mean, the Sixers are off tonight. They play tomorrow night, I believe, right?
Correct.
Against the Knicks. No, nothing tonight. Tonight's kind of a slow night.
Yeah.
And the MAC game is not doing
I'm
anything.
staying
I
there.
got to be honest with you.
Stay the hell away from that, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll end on the tech. Unless you have something.
Well,
before that.
A Vinny M, Angelo, at A Vinny M on Twitter, said, "You're thinking of Matthew Rhys, Harry. That's the actor. I think you spell it Rhys, R-H-Y-S.
Okay.
Would you say Rhys?
Yes, Reese, maybe.
Well, that would
like
be the
Reese
other.
Hoskins.
Okay, Matthew Reese.
I think it is Rise, though. I think the pronunciation is all bets are off.
But anyway, he's good.
Yes.
Good actor.
That's the guy you were thinking
That's a
of.
good show to Americans. I watched almost every season of that.
Lifetime ban from Mellow Texter. I'm offended. Wow. We're not going to go that
Well,
far.
what did you make of... Yeah, forget about Melo, but what did you make of Joel Embiid admitting that he'd like to see Ben Simmons start shooting the basketball?
Welcome to the party, JoJo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I think
nice
that's what
to
it's
have
going to
you
take,
aboard.
though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take peer pressure from his own teammates.
Well, every time that he's been bullied on social media or by fans at home,
It's worked. He's responded.
Absolutely.
At least temporarily. It
Correct.
might last only one game.
But it's enough. It's enough. You're onto something, though, and that's what we've all been saying, and maybe it does expedite the process, but...
Because that's the only reason he shot that game in that game against the Chinese team.
yeah.
Is because Joel was imploring him
Shoot
to
it!
shoot.
Shoot it! Mike Scott yelling from the bench. Look at this. Had to switch lanes mid-game in my old bowling league due to a blemish on lane from something off someone's ball. It was devastating. So you're used to this one lane that you're bowling in.
You got a groove in that lane,
Correct,
huh?
correct. And then you move to a different lane.
And probably didn't have good success?
No. Zero.
Do you think, now I'm not a bowler, but do you think bowlers they get sort of superstitious about stuff like that where, oh, I got to be in this lane?
I think if you're doing anything athletic or in the world of sports at a high level, you have some sense of superstition. Because otherwise you're going to drive yourself crazy. Right?
Baseball players have a lot of superstitions.
Correct. But you can't, my point of it is superstition to me implies that you don't waver on it.
Well, I think golfers too, like a routine, pre-shot routine. Like these guys, if anything disturbs them, they start over.
Right.
You know,
and then they reset.
Right.
Yeah, you see that sometimes on the free throw line.
Yeah, sure.
Where a guy will reset. I don't know if this foursome will make it at the top of our list, but Tom Brady, Abraham Lincoln, Mike Tyson, Harrison Ford. That's an interesting foursome to say the least.
Mike Tyson, Harrison Ford, and who?
Doesn't matter at this point. Abraham Lincoln and Tom Brady.
Okay.
We're asking for your Mount Rushmore of men. Give me your Mount Rushmore of men. All right?
Yeah. Nobody put Carson Wentz on any of these.
No.
Notice that?
Mel Tom is the name Bud H. Milton in Delaware. Mel Tom?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it's time to lock the doors to the Eagles facilities, give the new key to everyone but Mike Rowe. At the end of the season, sit Wentz down, ask him what receivers he wants, and go out and get them. Build a wide receiver core around him, not what you think is going to win. Jeffrey and him never had a connection for whatever reason.
You know, part of the problem with that is, I thought he and
Wentz?
No.
Jeffrey?
No. The guy from North Carolina, whose name
Matt
I
Collins.
want to forget. I think they had a relationship. Don't they have the same agent? I think that might be why they drafted Mac Hollins.
He went to his agent and said, "Give me that guy."
I think they had the same agent.
That is
and I think he was throwing with him during the off season before the draft.
Now, did his agent write up that scouting report?
That's what I'm saying. Jeez. I mean, did you see? You said high point the ball and all these skill sets that he doesn't. He hasn't shown one iota.
Not
of that.
once. Not 1 inch of it. Lombo didn't put Bruce on that list. I'm shocked. That's Alfie.
Lombo didn't put.
We asked him for Mount Rushmore of men.
Oh,
and
Bruce
Lombo did
Springsteen.
not. No, he did not.
Well, that maybe that would be his fourth, because he only had 3.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, that's a good point by Alfie. Alfie's sharp today, man.
Scott, yeah, you just saying that because he buttered you up with his
Sharp.
first one. Scott Nurma, Elvis John Wooden Lombardi, not Lombardo, and Charlie Manuel. Charlie Manuel is a man's man.
Yeah, he is.
Is he on the Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia men?
We say Skip.
All right, so Mousetrap. That's a board game. Do you remember that board game?
Is that kind of like Clue too?
No. Mousetrap was like really interactive. There were a bunch of different things, like 3D things on the board. You could drop the trap on a mouse. It was really different. And it was innovative in the sense that it had 3D elements to it that interacted with it.
How about the Ouija board?
Well, I don't know if you could count that as a board game, though, right?
I played it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you play that?
I remember I played it at a girl's 12th birthday party.
Now, how old were you?
I was 12.
Okay.
She was in my grade. This was like 1977. And somebody got it for her. Her name was Shelley. And somebody got her the Ouija board as a gift.
Okay.
So we busted it out and got the rules out and read them and played it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's I don't know, man. Ouija board? I guess you technically played it, right? But there was no winner or loser.
No.
Just a bunch of losers.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of losers, trust me.
All right, now listen to this. There is some infringement going on, or at least accusations of infringement. Are you ready for this, Harry?
On who?
On the poll going up.
Okay.
This was on the Lebitard show the other day, and they argued whether Jenga was a board game and craps and cards, and then some of them said it wasn't board, it was bored because you play them when you were bored. Then they say games like hide and seek and tag were included also. Someone should look up that segment and listen to it.
Oh, so
wow.
So Gil is pilfering stuff off of Levitard's show.
Yep.
So he's pilfering.
Accusations. There are allegations and accusations.
Wait
I
a second.
cannot speak.
So he's pilfering stuff off of Levitard's show, and then he's doing a Periscope show during our show.
That sounds about right.
Wow.
Any thoughts on that?
I don't know what to say.
Man, that is a sobering reminder right there of where we stand. Back in the chair, I'm reading this. Back in the 3 chair tomorrow with Mays and Shander show on 97.3 ESPN for some off-the-rails conversation. Download the app and stream online from noon to 2. That's
Right.
Jason Martinez.
See, that's a guy, he's a team player.
We're going to break something out tomorrow. We're going to get people on the wheel. You know that?
Get you on the wheel.
We are going to get you on the wheel tomorrow.
Ow, ow, ow.
I don't know if you know that. I'm going to get you on the wheel. It's going to be the, not prize wheel, but the impersonation wheel.
Oh, okay. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. All right, whenever you're ready.
So we'll have Kincaid tomorrow and Bruno, right?
Oh, should we tell Kevin?
Oh, that's right, because Martinez is.
Yeah. Should we move Kevin to Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if he can do like. Well, see what your guy in Seattle can do first as far as time, and then see if Kevin can do the other time. Right?
Yeah.
Josh is ready.
Coming up, it's a midweek edition of the Mays and Eitan Show. And Harry, guess who's back in studio?
Our former colleague Jason Martinez will join us for another Wild Wednesday.
And we'll cross the streams with Tony Bruno on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN app. Thanks, man. All right. Turn the stream off. Yep, I'm going to take you. Go for a big walk. Yeah, go for